Hello, I'm going to make a quick video on while loops and kind of explaining the ideas behind them. So we have our task main section here, and we've got our curly parentheses that open and close our task main section. As we are introduced into different structures like while loops, if statements, things like that, it's very important for us to know what each one of these parentheses does. So I'm going to start out right away by making some pseudocode for the task main parentheses. So 2 slashes, this is going to open task main. Okay, down here, 2 slashes, close task main. That will just kind of remind me in the back of my head what each one of these parentheses do. Now you can write the while loop from scratch if you want. Otherwise, what you can do is inside the control structure in the browser, if you go into control structures and then again into control structures, you can drag the while loop into your program. You'll notice it has the while loop, the condition that needs to be met for the loop to loop, and what's going to be looping. So for conditions, there's 2 different types of conditions we can write. We can write something that's always true or something that's always false. For example, 1 equals 0. That's the program's way of saying 1 equals 0. Or sorry, 1 equals 1. That's going to be a statement that's always true. So this while loop would repeat whatever's in between these parentheses forever. Okay? Again and again and again. So we have these parentheses here. I want to quickly mark off what they do. So this opens while loop, and this one down here closes. Oops. Closes while loop. Just to remind myself what everything's doing. Okay, so while equals 1 would be something that would continue on forever. So for example, if I wanted to make a motor start and stop again, I would just say, oh, let's see, I've got to find natural language, movement. I could have it start the motor, wait, 5 seconds we'll say, and then stop the motor, and then have it wait. So what would happen would be, as long as this condition was met, the motor would start, it would wait for 5 seconds, the motor would stop, wait for 5 seconds, and we'd go back to the beginning of the loop. So we'd go from the closing the while loop, it would check the condition, and then it would keep repeating again and again and again. Now, say I didn't want that to happen forever. I didn't want the motor to start and stop again and again. I could have a condition that's based on a sensor. Now, I've got examples of this up on Moodle if you need to, but the way we write this would be sensor value, and then whatever sensor we wanted. So let's say bump switch, and then close with a square bracket, equals 1. Make sure I'm writing this all right. So what this would mean would be, with our while loop, as long as the sensor value of the bump switch is 1, so as long as the bump switch is being pressed, this while loop will repeat again and again and again. The motor will start, it'll wait, it'll stop, it'll wait, it'll start, wait, stop, wait, until you let go of the bump switch, and then it will leave the while loop. So that's the idea behind the while loops. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that after a while statement, you need an opening parenthesis, and after your what's happening, you want a closing parenthesis. One quick thing I like to point out is there's this button up here for fix formatting. If I click on that, it's going to pop out the while loop just to make it stand out a little bit more. That gets very helpful if we have different while loops inside of while loops inside of while loops, or something along or something within that idea. So hopefully helped. Thanks for tuning in.